Hello and good morning to today's Facecast. It is Sunday the 26th of April and it is a sunny day outside. We are reading this morning from Philippians chapter 2 verse 3. Philippians is a letter written by St. Paul to the church in Philippi in modern day Greece. They had received the faith and now he's writing back to them to correct errors that were beginning to grow up and develop in the life of their church. As is likely in any church situation. We never get everything right. Sometimes we make mistakes, and they were making some mistakes. And he says this to them in verse 3 of chapter 2. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Now that's along the same sort of lines as our reading yesterday, which was from Proverbs, which talked about not having a haughty attitude, but being humble and living a life of humility towards one another. This is saying the same sort of thing. Don't do things out of selfish ambition. It's okay to be ambitious. It's good to be ambitious. It means we move forward with our lives and we move our society forward when we're ambitious. But if we're selfishly ambitious, then that's the wrong attitude. It means we're putting ourselves before our fellow man and woman. And we shouldn't do things out of vain conceit, that is, thinking of ourselves as better or superior, more important than other people. We must consider ourselves alongside other people and seeking whatever we do to serve others as well as ourselves. That's the right attitude, we might say the Christian attitude we should have, that we are a community of people living together and we should be assisting one another in that community living. This verse isn't isolated, it's part of a whole passage of Scripture which is telling the people there, this is how you should be living. Let me read a few verses just around that verse. This was verse 3. Let me read verses 1 to 4 so you can get the flavour of it. If you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, which of course they would have because they had come to Christ, they had turned to him as the way, the truth and the life, and they were following his way for living. If any fellowship with the Spirit, that is the Spirit of God, if any tenderness and compassion, and they would be showing tenderness and compassion one to another because of this new way of living, then make my joy complete, he says, by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and purpose. It makes Paul joyful to hear of them living as they should be, as a community of Christian people. Make my joy complete, he says to them, by living in this way. And then the verse we've read already, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. And then verse 4, each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. Don't look just to your own interest. Don't just look out for yourself, but look out for others too. It's having this common communal attitude about life. We're not individual islands. We are people on the ship together, the ship of life. And we need to look out for and care for one another as we sail forth into this world. It's what we would call the sound teaching of the people of God, shown to us here in the New Testament. It's sound now as it was for them. Because today we're inclined to do things a bit selfishly and a bit in the wrong attitude sometimes, aren't we? I know I am. I expect we all do at times. So we need to be reminded of this teaching from time to time. We need to say, I've got to get back on track with that. That's the way I should be thinking about things. That's the way I should be talking to other people. Well, that's it for today, all about living the Christian life. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Bye for now.